Welcome back to our special Desert Storm as we build up to India versus Pakistan 2.0 because the first one went India's way. This one is the first game of the Super 4, so it's going to be very important. You got to win games, only then can you make it to the final. If a team has to lose today, then they'll have their backs against the wall because then you'll have to win 2 games on the trot to qualify for the finals. Still plenty Indian fans coming in. What do you reckon? How's the game going to go? And India missing Jadeja, you reckon?
Definitely going to miss Jadeja big time. Actually, Akshar Patel is a good replacement, but somehow Jadeja is always able to make runs actually when it matters. So we're really going to miss him, but we're going to show how strong we really are because even if Jadeja is not there, we're going to win the game for sure.
Okay, I'll tell you what, you know who's with us right now? Sunny bhai, I don't know if you heard this gentleman talking is wearing an India jersey, but my question to you is, did you recognize the accent?
Yes, it did too. Certainly didn't. Certainly didn't sound.
Go ahead, Sunny bhai.
Certainly didn't sound an Indian accent. So I don't know. Which accent was that?
Okay, why don't you solve the puzzle? Why don't you solve the puzzle? Where are you from?
Sunil Gavaskar?
Yes.
Mr. Gavaskar, do you remember me? We actually met in 1983 when you came to my house. And we actually had...
Tell us, what accent have you got?
I've got a Guyanese accent. I'm from Guyana.
There you go, Saiva. I thought you'll pick it up. He's got a bit of a Trini as well as a bit of a Guyana accent.
So you might not remember me. It's a very, very long time ago. It's 39 years ago when you made that 147 at Border, not out. Can you remember?
Of course he remembers every knock of his. He even remembers how he got out.
Forget a century, yes.
He wasn't out at that time.
He wasn't out.
You were not out. I don't know if you remember.
Okay. Coming back to you, what are you expecting? Were you here for the first game?
No, I was not here for the first game, but looking forward for this game and looking forward for Virat's comeback probably in this one. Okay, last game he played well, but I'm looking forward for that.
Okay, thank you so much, gentlemen.
And one more thing before we go, Naz. What's Mr. Gavaskar's first name?
Sunil.
What's my name? Sunil. Mr. Sunil, hi. Sunil saying hi.
Were you named after him?
No.
You're not that young.
Same thing is true here. I'm Sachin, so.
You're Sachin. Okay, wow. How lucky am I? I had a Sachin to my left. I had a Sunil to my right. You know, that's the holy, not the trinity because I'm talking about two, but part of the holy trinity of Indian batting. One side Sunil Gavaskar, the other side I had Sachin. Thank you so much. Have a good game, guys. So the latest update now coming from Dubai is that Pakistan have won the toss, and no surprise that they have decided to bowl first. So that means Pakistan would be chasing. Saibhai, coming to you. I know that this time around of the year there hasn't been much due, so the toss hasn't been important. But I'm looking at all the matches that have been played so far in the tournament. Out of the 7, 5 have been won by team chasing, and the only 2 times a team batting won first was against minnows like Hong Kong. So clearly, even now, chasing here seems to be the right way.
Well, yes, I think generally in T20 cricket, that's what teams look at doing, particularly if the due factor is not there. But again, this is an India v Pakistan game. Runs on the board can make a big difference. We saw that when India chased as well. Pakistan had scored 147, and you would have thought that that should not be too difficult to get. But India got it only in the final over. So I do believe that if India get to anything over 160, 170, hopefully they will, then they will certainly put a lot of pressure on Pakistan to get those runs.
Pragyan, what do you make of the fact that India batting first? Does it give any sort of advantage, even though a slight one to Pakistan now, even before the first ball has been bowled?
See, if you look at every ground has a certain way. So in pattern, I'm talking about. So Dubai, yes, normally teams batting second, they have that little bit of advantage because stats says so. But mind you, if you see, we often talk about India's top 3. When you look at Pakistan's top 3, even they are struggling. And if India, with the bowling attack that they have with the seamers, if they get those early wickets, you never know. You can put that pressure on, and I'm very sure if India puts a good total and then gets early wickets, then you know they can change the stats, and stats are meant to change. So I'm very confident that you can always talk about there is a certain pattern or there is a certain way of playing on a particular venue, but it can always change. That is the beauty of this game.
We're still awaiting the playing 11s from both teams, but what we can confirm right now is Pakistan this time have won the toss. Remember that first game, India won the toss and decided to bowl. This time Pakistan has done exactly that, and that has been the sort of trend in this Asia Cup. Teams have preferred to chase, and that has paid dividends too. We'll find out how India perform when they bat first, but we're still waiting for the update on the 2 11s. But Saibhai, coming to you, we know that Akshar Patel joined the team yesterday. He's had a few hours here. He hasn't gone. He hasn't played much. Okay, we're just getting news as far as the playing 11 is concerned. Deepak Hooda has come in to the 11. Hardik Pandya comes in. That's not a surprise. He had to come in. And then Ravi Bishnoi is playing. So that would be interesting to know in terms of who has been left out. But Deepak Hooda comes in. Hardik Pandya, as I said, had to come in. He was rested, not really dropped from the previous game, rested. So he had to come back in. And then you have Ravi Bishnoi that the Indian team has gone with. Saibhai, your initial thoughts, Ravi Bishnoi, Deepak Hooda coming in?
Well, it's a balanced team again. It's been a balanced team. What has happened is that you've got somebody who can bowl and bat who was missing because of an injury. Now you've got Deepak Hooda who can also do pretty much what Ravindra Jadeja does. So yes, that's a change. It's not surprising that Akshar Patel, who must have arrived only yesterday, not being selected for such a big game within 24 hours, so that's understandable. But Deepak Hooda coming in, not really a big surprise. As also that Bishnoi coming in, because Bishnoi is flatter through the air than Chahal. He would have come in place of Chahal. And so Bishnoi makes it just a little bit more difficult. So maybe that's the reason why these two changes have happened.
We're still awaiting confirmation as to who are the players that have been left out, but the three players that have come in for the Indian team are Deepak Hooda, Ravi Bishnoi, Hardik Pandya, as I said, was only rested the last game, so
Nikhil,
he comes back in. We'll let you know who are the players who have been left
yeah,
out,
Nikhil.
and that's when we'll... Yeah, Pragyan, go ahead, please.
Yeah, I think Bishnoi has come in place of Avesh Khan. I think as we were discussing that Avesh Khan is not getting his form, and he's been expensive. Yeah. Maybe Indian team has gone with three spinners. That's what, three spinners. As in we have got Chahal, then Bishnoi, and then Hooda can bowl.
So what do you make of that, Pragyan? Three spinners. What do you make out of that? Because last time around it was the fast bowlers that picked up all the wickets versus Pakistan. What do you make of this thought of going in with three spinners?
I think it's a fresh wicket. That's what I was when I was following the news. I heard. So it's a fresh wicket. So maybe the wicket is little dry, or maybe Indian team is more confident of playing three spinners rather than going with Avesh Khan. Either of these two would be the scenario. That's how it looks like.
Sunny-bhai, Avesh we know has been running fever for the last few days, and probably that's why he's been left out. Had he been available, maybe they would have gone with him. But my point to you is this something that the Indian team could have preempted rather than wait for the 11th hour, because they had the opportunity of inducting a Deepak Chahar in, who's been a standby, and if three fast bowlers is what they've been going with as they went in that first game, it would have been prudent to have inducted him in the 15, but because he wasn't, you were left with no other fast bowler to replace Avesh. You had to bring in a spinner. So in that sense, a forced change?
Yes, it's a forced change, because if somebody is injured, it is a forced change. But the way the Indian team is looking at it is, Arshdeep has bowled really well. Bhuvneshwar Kumar was outstanding. That bouncer to get Babar Azam was top stuff. And then, of course, there's Hardik Pandya. So you've got three guys who can come in and bowl fast, and then you've got three spinners, with Deepak Hooda also coming in and chipping in with his off spin. So I would imagine that it's a much more balanced attack, particularly now that Pandya is starting to bowl again. That really gives India just that little bit more balance. Then as far as fielding is concerned, Bishnoi is a much better fielder than Avesh Khan. So clearly, I think there are advantages. There are pluses and pluses with this inclusion.
Saibai, the other thing, we were talking about how R. Ashwin, and I was talking to Bhajju also a short while ago, he thought that R. Ashwin would be the perfect replacement for Ravindra Jadeja, but they've gone with Deepak Hooda. What did you make of that particular selection?
Well, I think somebody had to replace Ravindra Jadeja. So while it's not a like for like, you could say
Yes.
it's like for like with Deepak Hooda being a right-hander. And Deepak Hooda can hit the ball a fair distance. He's got this innovative play which can destroy a bowler, which can confuse a bowler as to what line and what lengths to bowl. And then he's an outstanding fielder. He's a top-class fielder. So again, like Jadeja, he will save you runs on the field. He will effect the run out. He will take a very good catch. And then he can come in and bowl a couple of overs if required. So I think it's a good team. It's something slightly out of the box because you would have expected somebody as experienced as Ashwin to come in. But if you're looking at Ashwin to bat at number 8 or 9, rather than that, they've gone for Deepak Hooda, who can really power the ball away if he has to bat at about 7, 8 or 9.
Pragyan, Deepak Hooda coming in for Ravindra Jadeja. What that means is, so you had an option. In Jadeja, you've got a perfect all-rounder who chips in both with the bat and the ball. But when it comes to someone like Deepak Hooda, he's more of a batsman. The bowling then becomes slightly weaker. Had you gone Ravichandran Ashwin's way, you would have strengthened your bowling, yes, but maybe the batting became a bit weaker. So the fact that India has gone to strengthen their batting, does that surprise you a bit, considering Indian batsmen, even the number 5s, the 6, haven't even got a chance to bat in this tournament so far? If you really need to strengthen an area, maybe it was the bowling?
Absolutely. When you look at T20 cricket, you have to strengthen your batting. That's what I feel, because if you look at this bowling combination that right now Indian team is playing, it's a very, very balanced bowling side. And that balance is strengthened only because Hardik Pandya started bowling. Had he not been bowling, it would have been a different equation. And when you look at why Deepak Hooda comes in, it's only because the top 3 has been a little concern for us. Had they performed, had to their capacity, we would have seen a Ravichandran Ashwin come in, because that's when you look at bowling option. But right now, because Jadeja has missed out with the injury, they want one batsman who can float around with Surya Kumar Yadav, who can bat at the top, or maybe if team needs, he can bat little down the order, so he can be a floater. So that option only Deepak Hooda can give you. And as rightly said by Sunny sir, Akshar Patel just arrived, and it is very, very difficult to just put in a man for an important game like this. Had there been no choice, if it was a forced thing, then Akshar Patel would have played. But you have players in your team. That's the reason Deepak Hooda is the right replacement. That's what I feel.
Saibai, one word on the Pakistan team. I believe Hassan Ali is in. Of course, you had the Shahnawaz, their fast bowler, the Hani, who did very well with the bat also versus India. He's out, so they've gone with Hassan Ali. Bit surprising, considering Hassan wasn't even part of the 15-member squad, and Hasnain was. So many thought maybe the fast bowler and Hasnain would come in. But I think Pakistan, in a crunch encounter, have gone with experience of Hassan Ali.
Yes, definitely, yes. I think it's a big game. They know that they have to win this game, and therefore they've gone in with the experience of Hassan Ali. Yes, Hassan Ali, again, a lot of people keep on remembering that drop catch of Matthew Wade, after which Matthew Wade went berserk and hit Shaheen Shah Afridi for 3 sixes. And sometimes, that kind of a thing can stay with a player for a long, long time. And therefore maybe he missed out, but he's back in the mix now. He's got the experience. And he's got the knack of taking wickets. And that's the thing. He's got the knack of taking wickets. And that is the reason why they probably picked him.
All right, Saibai, thanks so much for joining us. I know you have to go to our sister channel, Aaj Tak, but we'll continue our discussion with Pragyan Ojha. As you can see, the crowds have now thinned because, most of them have found their seats in the stadium. They're ready to watch that first ball being bowled, because you will have KL Rahul, Rohit Sharma walk out. So the crowd that was coming in, you saw the lines extending till almost a kilometer. They have really reduced, and now the crowd's just trickling into the stadium. But Pragyan, no place yet again for Rishabh Pant. What do you make of that selection? Maybe the Indian team is not too obsessed as sometimes we are about having a left-hander in the top order. Even though Jadeja is not there, they haven't gone with a Rishabh Pant. They're happy.
See, there are two different things we are talking about here. We are trying to address. One is Rishabh Pant, because in T20 cricket he wasn't doing the way he's done in the other two formats. Maybe that's the reason why they had Dinesh Karthik, who was performing consistently and he was given a particular role and he has succeeded in that. So I think that is one of the reasons why Dinesh Karthik is preferred. But if I tell you, if Indian team needs a wicket keeper, they will definitely go to Rishabh Pant, because last game that Rishabh Pant played, it was Rishabh Pant who was wicket keeping, not Dinesh Karthik. So it's more of Dinesh Karthik's batting which is putting him forward ahead of Rishabh Pant. I think that's what I see. Other than that, I don't see any other thing what Indian team is thinking about right now.
You had told me. Still with us. We had earlier reported 3 changes, but I believe there are 4 changes now to the Indian team, as I've been informed. There is Deepak Hooda who has come in, there is Ravi Bishnoi who's come in, there's Hardik Pandya who's coming, which we had reported. But now I've been told, and apologies for that, because you know I'm outside the stadium and I only get the information from the office. So there are 4 changes in all now. I believe Rishabh Pant is part of the 11 and there is no Dinesh Karthik. So apologies for that miscommunication. But at the moment we're just looking at this Indian team. So my question remains the same this time around, Pragyan. Apologies for that, because that's the information that had been conveyed to me. But I believe it is Rishabh Pant that is playing. So clearly that left-hander batsman they wanted against the leg spinner that they have and the left-arm spinner that they have.
Yes, absolutely. See, as I told you, see, there must be 2 reasons. One, why Dinesh Karthik is playing. He's playing because he's been batting, and the role that was given to him, he's doing that role to the best of his potential. And Rishabh Pant has been little not that great when you talk about this format. And now that Ravindra Jadeja is not there, that is the reason why Rishabh Pant is playing and not Dinesh Karthik, because they want one left-hander in the middle. Because there are 2 spinners who are going to be very critical against right-handers. So maybe to counter that, they have got Rishabh Pant in, and as I told you, I'll keep my words. As long as you're looking for a wicket keeper, it will be Rishabh Pant. But when you're looking for a batsman who can keep a bit, it will be Dinesh Karthik.
But what do you make of the entire changes that the Indian team has made? I understand, Pragyan, that some of them are forced because you had injuries as well. But 4 changes from the team that last played Pakistan almost a week ago. Does that signal anywhere that the Indian team could be a bit worried, or are they pressing a panic button? Or how do you see it? Because too many changes are never a good sign.
Absolutely. Too many changes are never a good sign for a team like, this Indian team, which is settled and has been doing really well. But at times, you have your plans, and the plan is they want one left-hander of the order, which we have been discussing. So that's the reason why as soon as Jadeja was not available, they got Rishabh Pant in, and then they've got Deepak Hooda. As I told you, that they want a floater in the team who can give you those quick runs and also give you some offies. Maybe because of that. And when you talk about Ravi Bishnoi, I think it is because of Avesh Khan, as you told us that he is not available. So that is a force changed. And unfortunately, we don't have other seamers. That is the reason why Bishnoi has come in. But mind you, we already have 3 seamers now. It's not like we are falling short of seamers. So I think it looks very balanced.
Yes. The only worry there, you make a valid point, Pragyan, that you have 3 seamers because Hardik Pandya has been bowling very well. But the one Achilles heel for India has been the amount of runs that India has given in the death overs. And now with 1 fast bowler less, how do you think India is going to manage that? Will we see a case where someone like a Yuzi Chahal, we've seen Yuzi bowl sometime the 17th over as well, and he's done very well. You might have to use a spinner towards the death.
I think yes, you can use Chahal at the death, but you already have two bowlers who can do that job for you, and we will see some roles changing in this
Yeah.
particular game because the situation is such. But Arshdeep and Bhuvi, we will see in the death. Those 2 or 3 overs will be definitely be given to Arshdeep and Bhuvi.
The death overs, as Pragyan is saying, that you could go in with Arshdeep and Bhuvi, in which case you will have to save their 2 overs each. So the last 4 overs then can be done by the two fast bowlers. But now, Pragyan, if I had to ask you to make a prediction, you've seen the changes that both teams have made. You know what the toss has happened, that it will be the Indian team batting first. If you had to now pick who's going to be winning, what are your thoughts?
No, no, absolutely Indian team because the way they have won the last 2 games. And mind you, if you take that Hong Kong game away, I don't think both the teams will be riding on confidence when they discuss about Hong Kong. When you keep that game aside, and when you talk about only India and Pakistan, India has beaten them in this series. What has happened in the past is long gone. But whenever you discuss about this tournament, this game, you will talk about what has happened in the last game that you played a few days ago. So I think psychologically India will have that advantage. But I'm telling you, as Sunny sir said, that when India and Pakistan they play each other, you see special performances because that is the emotion that really makes you deliver better.
Okay, all the time for talking has been done. All the experts have spoken. We know what teams have been selected. We know what has happened after the toss, and we know what the Indian team is going to be doing. Now it is up to those 11 players on each side to walk the talk, to perform to the best of their abilities. And as we've heard numerous times before, the team that handles pressure better is going to turn out victorious. Last time around, it was the Indian team. Let's see which team turns out victorious this time. That's all that we have on this special bulletin. But don't forget, we'll be live at the end of the match. We'll come in with our experts in Sunny Gavaskar, Pragyan Oja joining us. So don't forget to tune in right after that last ball is bowled. For the moment, we'll leave you with this bite of Rahul Dravid, who is in a jovial mood ahead of this India-Pakistan encounter. Enjoy this. We'll see you soon.
Bowling analysis of our fast bowlers was also pretty good. So, I would not, I would respect their bowling, certainly, but I'm very confident that we have a very good bowling attack as well, that produces results. Might not be as, no, I wanted to use a word, but I can't use that word. Might not be very, the word I wanted is coming out of my mind, but I can't use it here. So, but yeah, anyway, yeah, so the point I'm trying to make is that, yeah, not exuberant, no, it's a little bit, 4 letters start with S, but it's okay. No, might not look very glamorous, but certainly in terms of production of results, we've got some guys who produce the results.